So Neil, one of the lovely people in my Discord server, asked me a great question: how to cope with failure and not lose self-esteem. This, I think, is something that all of us will go through at some point or another, especially in our animation career, and especially as the market becomes more and more complicated and there's more and more competition out there. So failure is part of the journey. And let me tell you some of the stories that I've been through and how I dealt with it so it doesn't affect me as much as it used to way back in the day. Let's get to it. Alright, welcome to another video, guys. If you are new here, my name is Harvey Newman. I have been a games developer for 20 plus years, and I like to share my passion here in this channel with all of you. Now, I have been through a lot of ups and downs through my life. And if you're new to this channel, I have been through not only professionally, but before, dealing with life's issues, being raised as a foster kid, not having parents, not having a solid base, people that actually can give me advice on what to do and what not to do, and still try to navigate life the best way possible so I can make the best decisions, so they kind of like accumulate to actually give me the best outcome possible. Now, today, I am a parent, I have two lovely girls, and I have to teach them what to do in life and how to navigate this difficult journey that we all go through. I have thought a lot about how I can actually kind of like, give advice to people. These videos help me a lot to kind of like rationalize some ideas that I have. But one of the things that I cannot put my finger on 100% is how did I actually get from where I was to where I am now, right now. But I do know for a fact that part of the reason why I'm here is how I deal with the negativity that comes my way, right? And this is basically the beginning of this narrative of dealing with failure. It can be something absolutely devastating for somebody, and somebody else might see it as something that happens in life and let's move on from here. So it really is individual, and it's actually up to you to decide how big do you want to make this. But one way or the other, know that animation, this journey that you go through, definitely involves failure. And the reason why is because art is subjective, and not everybody is going to like what you are doing. And most importantly, not everybody is going to give you a chance to start in this industry, and you have to have quite a lot of luck and quite a lot of talent in order to merge those two together to get started in this industry. But even when you get started, even when you are a professional, you still will find failure. And when that happens, coping with it is going to be way harder than it was before you became a professional. There are certain things that happen when you are a professional that are nerve-wracking, and there's nothing you can do about. So I'm gonna break this video into like before you start working and after you start working. Before you start working, before you are a professional in this industry, it's very hard to actually cope with failure, at least from my perspective. And the reason why is because you haven't been validated as an artist. You want to be an animator, you want to be an artist, and in order for you to be that, you need somebody to tell you you are that, right? If you're anything like me, like no matter how many times people told me that I was talented and I could do this and I could do the other, if I was not working and earning money, living by doing what I love, then I was not an artist in my heart of hearts, right? So if that's you, then know that actually that is not true. In reality, being an artist is a state of mind. So if you consider yourself an artist and you consider that you are doing a really, really good job, then you are an artist, but you need to strive to actually always be better than you were the previous day. Now, because you don't have that validation, I felt very fragile when I was not an artist, because any good or bad review was basically magnified. Anybody that told me that I was really good, I used to feel like a superhero. Everybody that used to tell me that I was really, really bad, then it would make me feel this small and like, why am I doing this? So you kind of have to brush those things aside and just basically have a more constant mindset that no matter if it's good or bad, you'll continue on your journey and you'll invest time in order to become an artist. The way I did it was very much of like, I will give myself 2 years, 5 years to get to my goal. No matter if it's good or bad, or things happen that are good or bad, I will give myself 2 years or 5 years to get to my goal. In 2 years, in 5 years, if I work really hard and I do all these things, if I'm not where I think I need to be, then I need to reassess things and see how I feel, right? Because what is going to happen if you actually set your goals in the long run, you'll be able to actually not only go through the ups and downs, but also have a positive outcome in the end, because you're going to feel good that you are consistent with the amount of work that you've made. And this is really important because art, even though it's considered this thing that some people that are talented have it, is mostly about hard work and consistency. So if you can actually get around that, that means that you will become a little bit more bolster when it comes to feedback. So you can tell yourself, this was a bad week, this is a bad month or a bad day, but I will persevere and continue working because maybe next month is going to be better, right? When you get in that loop, you're going to feel great. Now, let's say a few months went past, a few years went past, and now you're actually a professional animator, a professional artist. There's a whole new ball game being played when you start working professionally. And unfortunately, when you start working, you actually are very naive. I was very naive, and I fully thought, now that I've been through years of being an amateur and working hard and I made it to be a professional, now nothing can take me down. And I was so wrong, because what happens is that there is people that have way more experience than you, people that are going to be way more talented than you, people that are going to make you feel really small, and people that are not going to like you just because they don't like you. There's no reason other than they just don't like you. And you're going to have to deal with all that, plus politics within a studio that you're going to have to work for a few years in order to ship a game, and that is going to mess up with your mind quite a bit. I don't want to scare anybody, because the games industry is wonderful, but you will find those experiences sooner rather than later. And I hope your first experience is very positive, because mine wasn't. But once you do find it, then it's up to you to actually see how you deal with it. And patience is what I found key when it comes to dealing with those situations, because there's a lot of things happening around you, and you're just a humble junior animator or junior artist, and you're trying to navigate this complex situation that directors and leads and everybody that is super busy up over here is trying to do. Right? So for you to actually just stay keen and absorb as much as you possibly can is really, really wise right at the beginning. Try not to snap at anybody. Try not to actually become grumpy with anybody. Try not to take anything personal with anybody, because if you do that, and if you do that at an early age, and I did it a couple of times, you basically feel very much like you might actually explode on somebody, or explode because you actually had a bad day, or you feel like this guy or girl has it for you personally. You will regret it at some point in the future, because as you become wiser and more experienced, you'll look back at that experience and you'll be like, that was not right, I was in the wrong, no matter how I feel that at the time, so I should have perhaps just waited and just see, right? So absorb as much as you can. Try not to snap at anybody, especially in our early days, because the more you navigate this system that is experienced people and talent and like people trying to politic and get better positions and things like that, the more you will understand how to navigate this world. And it's going to take you years to get to a good position, but eventually you will realize exactly which buttons do you need to press in order to become a little bit better, to get a better position, to actually kind of like portray yourself in a professional manner. Because if you look at it at a professional level, especially when you ship quite a few games, even for me, looking back, all my experience, really the only thing that matters when you are working in games, when you are working in a project, is the feeling and experience that you had in that project, right? It can be positive or negative, right? And if it's positive or negative, then why is it positive or negative? It doesn't matter how successful the end product is. If your experience was not good within that game, then you will forever, whenever people say you worked on this project, that was amazing, I really enjoyed the game, for you, you're always going to have a little bit of a stone in your shoe going like, yeah, that project was more or less, right? So on the flip side, if you have like a very unsuccessful project, which also happened in your career, but you had an amazing experience with an amazing team and it was really, really fun, then no matter how much people bash on that game or that project, you'll always think, man, but my team though, my people though were amazing. We had so much fun doing this, right? So it's all about the experiences, and those experiences, especially if they are positive, they'll stick to you. And if they are negative, they'll teach you what things to do and not do in this industry, right? So it will take you a while, but just know that if you are not in the industry right now, you're in the best possible position. So don't take anything personal. Everything that the people tell you, it might not be constructive, but it will be something that you can learn from. And that resilience that you built before you start in the industry is going to be really important for you to then be even more resilient when you start working professionally, right? Because the artists and the people that actually make it in the industry, this industry, film industry, VFX industry, no matter where you actually look at, are normally the people that are not only talented, but work hard, grind hard, and are incredibly resilient, and things just brush off their shoulders like there's no tomorrow. That's how you actually get to be somebody that ends up being incredibly good at their job. Almost like you had bad experiences, but when I look at you, when I talk to you, I don't see any of those. I just see an amazing person that has done amazing things, and that is really commendable. If you think about the best artists, the awesome artists that you like, the best top artists that you like, you'll realize that most of them have those traits in common, and this is the things that we strive to be in the future. So I hope that all made sense. I hope it was useful to you. And if it was, consider subscribing if you haven't so far. Give it a like and comment down below about some of your personal experiences, if you can, positive or negative, so we can inform others of some of the stuff that is about to happen, some of the stuff that may happen, and how to actually better have a positive experience overall. So that's all I had for you guys. Major shout out to my patrons as usual for supporting me in this channel every single month. Go and check it out if you haven't so far. And until next week, stay well, stay safe. Peace.